Have you ever looked into the night sky, lit by a full, radiant, glowing moon, and thought, is the X-Files really based on true events? Welcome to the Moonlit Ghost, my channel dedicated to the research and understanding of some of the most profound mysteries this strange and beautiful world has to offer. My name is Jacob Winterfeld, and as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated with the strange and unusual. This fascination was stoked in my youth by an old plantation house I grew up in, situated in an obscure country town in the Deep South. Clio, South Carolina was my childhood home, one that holds a special place in my heart to this day. That special place in my heart aside, no doubt that place was legit freaky. Some scary stuff happened there, and as much as I loved that place as a kid, looking back, I'm grateful that my parents eventually packed up and moved to Utah, where I was introduced to a whole new genre of weird things. The X-Files. I remember watching Mulder and Scully investigate everything from aliens to ghosts to monsters to just about anything you can imagine, and I just loved it. I embraced the creative terror that surged from every episode. It exhilarated my imagination and made me want to tell stories in a similar vein. Then I found out that the pilot episode, aptly titled Pilot, where the agents investigate a string of deaths that Mulder suspects to be the handiwork of aliens, along with other episodes distributed throughout the series, were inspired by true events. And it just blew me away that this type of crazy stuff could have a basis in reality. Throughout the years, I've had many strange experiences, and I've done my best to explain those experiences in terms that make rational and logical sense. And to be sure, there are rational explanations for many, if not most, claims of the paranormal. From insects crawling on camera lenses to pareidolia, to the haunting effects of sleep paralysis. Many otherworldly experiences can truly be explained without a need to invoke the paranormal. And the truth is, we tend to think things are more strange than they really are. Occams Razor says that given two or more explanations for an occurrence, the simplest answer is usually the correct one. That creaking sound in that old house you just moved into, you think that's old one-eyed Jimmy rooting around trying to find his eye and terrorizing anyone who sits in his chair? Or you think it might just be an old house, and it's just more susceptible to moving and shifting in ways that newer houses probably wouldn't? I think Occam's Razor is probably a pretty good principle to live by most of the time, but I wouldn't die by it. To think that the correct answer is always the simplest solution is to greatly underestimate the nature of this prodigious, just wanted to use that word, world that we live in. In more recent years, I have seen things that I have wrestled with in my depths, and attempting to find logical solutions for these experiences has required me to do more mental gymnastics than to just admit the truth that I had a real paranormal experience. Experiences that, in my opinion, truly do transcend in epic inexplicability the veil of obvious empiricism. I want to be clear, it's not just my intention to be a ghost hunter. No, my intention is to approach these inexplicable things with a keen eye, to investigate and to dive into this bizarre world armed with a healthy dose of skepticism and wonder. It's my intention to start systematically researching, scrutinizing, and classifying these claims until we can start teasing out the truth from a sea of total fiction, and perhaps in the process build a body of evidence distinguished from the overwhelming flood of hoaxes and misleading information out there. So what is the idea exactly? Well, let's watch a video and break it down. Got a couple dudes just getting into the elevator. That's interesting. It's an electrical problem a little bit. Pointing something out. I wonder if he sees something. Okay, they're getting off. Look at that. That's a granny ghost in the elevator. I don't think she's going to be able to get off in time. Oh my. Okay, so on a scale from 0 to 10, where would you place this video? Is this the most incredible piece of evidence to prove paranormal entities exist, or is it just a bunch of bunk? When critiquing videos like this, we should really be utilizing a series of tools to figure this type of stuff out. And wouldn't you know it, some of these tools are useful for figuring other things out. You know, like the news, or other things. For sure, what I'm about to go through don't just apply to figuring out whether old Jimmy's rooting around somewhere. These things can be used to live a productive, well-informed, and healthy life. First and foremost, we need to find the source of this video. Where did it come from? It turns out that in our attempt to find the validity of this paranormal video, we've solved it at step 1. This video was created by a company called McGann World Group for advertising purposes. More info in the description if you're interested in why they made it. So this video was a complete hoax, and just by finding out what the source was, it became apparent what was true. But is every piece of evidence so easy to dismiss? Well, no. And that's where the Moonlit ghost comes in. Other than looking for the sources, we should be looking for the quality of the evidence. If you've got a brown splotch on a video and you say it's Bigfoot, well, I mean, you might have actually caught Bigfoot, but unfortunately, it's not going to be very admissible because you just don't have a lot there. And then we should be looking at acting and the body language of any participants in the video. Are the people telling the truth, and are there any obvious cues in the way that they are presenting themselves that would suggest otherwise? And then, was the video edited or manipulated in any way? This doesn't necessarily mean it's fraudulent, but it's probably worth looking into why they edited it and what the purposes behind it was. And then finally, misidentification. It could be a legitimate video, and the people even behind the video could genuinely think that they're seeing something crazy or paranormal, but in reality it's just not actually what they think it is. 2 examples come to mind. Just the wake of a boat on the water can create the illusion of a long serpentine creature or anything like that. Like a lot of Loch Ness sightings or lake monsters, this kind of happens with sometimes. And the second thing are urban exploration videos where people are exploring abandoned places. Oftentimes people might be scared and think they're catching some paranormal activity, when in reality they're running into homeless people, which is kind of sad, but it's also a little bit more scary than running into ghosts, in my opinion, because you don't know what could happen. Well, you don't really know what could happen with ghosts either, but that's a different story. How could I say that's a different story? That's what this video is. I don't know. This is called the Moonlit Ghost. Moving on. I'm doing this for myself because I love this type of stuff, but more primarily, I think it needs to be done. There are people out there doing similar things, but I intend to step this game up a little bit. And it's only a matter of time before we are really forced to recognize that a lot of these crazy fringe ideas that have long been stigmatized have more basis in reality than not. Look at the UFO phenomena, for example. There's just so much evidence out there that even world governments are now opening up and engaging with the public about the reality of them. We, in all honesty, can no longer make fun of our tinfoil hat wearing friends. Well, we can still make fun of them, but just let them know that you got their back and that you love them. Speaking of love, why don't you show me a little bit and smash that like button, go ahead and subscribe, and comment below if you've ever seen a ghost. And if you're a skeptic, let me know why. Feel free to share this video with anyone who might appreciate it. And if you're really feeling supportive, please check out my Patreon, where you can support me further and learn how you can be a part of the channel. Links in the description. And finally, if you know of any scary stories, haunted houses, mysterious places, or for any other reason, please feel free to contact me at themoonlitghost@gmail.com. I also want to add before I go that this isn't just me spouting off on some paranormal pipe dream. This channel is just one step in a larger goal of mine. A goal which at its heart lies the simple desire to learn, to be educated, and to explore the world in all the ways. So again, have you ever looked up into the night sky, lit by a full moon, and thought, why am I here? Or what else is out there? I often wonder if these eternal questions, these all too human ailments of the heart, don't also, at least in some degree, afflict those pesky aliens, or that elusive Bigfoot, or the spirits of those who've passed, those moonlit ghosts, and in some unknown way connect us all through this vast and mysterious cosmos. Feel free to share this video with anyone you might feel